I've struggled for years to develop a morning time routine that really works for our family because I would see the routines that other people say were the best ones or the things that you must include and try to force it on my family. But their family aren't my family. And my family isn't yours. So today, let's talk about what is working for my family, and hopefully it will inspire you to develop something that's going to work for yours. Now, I don't have a set wake up time. My jobs are flexible in the hours, but also in the demand. So from week to week can look really different. So my wake up time depends on my workload as well as what my body needs, because I do have a couple chronic health conditions as well. That said, my wake up time can be as early as 6:30 or as late as 7:30. It just really depends on what's going on. For years, I would lounge around in my PJs each morning, only to rush through me in order to get our school day started. I've switched that now, in part as a reminder that I am worth the time and the effort as well. This is something that's been really hard for me to embrace. And so I started doing this first thing as kind of a mental health thing for me. I still don't love getting out of bed and going straight to getting dressed and taking care of my skin and such, but it's made a huge difference for me mentally. I need to connect in the morning with friends, with the news, with the world. So I have coffee and social media time every morning, and I feel no guilt for that. Some people will say you shouldn't do that because then you're going to get sucked into it for the rest of the day. But for me, it's kind of like scratching an itch. If you ignore that itch, slowly it's going to be all you can think about. For me, if I scratch it a bit, give myself time and permission to say, yeah, this is good. Connect with others, connect with something beyond yourself, then I don't crave it later in the morning. It has taken some time for me to train myself to say that, yes, I can have some time, and then I can cut it off. And if I have time later in the day, which I usually do, then I can look later. But for me, it's been really important, not just to do it, but to give myself permission that it's okay that I do it. And as I said, I am slow to get going and moving in the morning, so this time also gives me a little bit of oomph time to fully wake up and be ready to engage. Now, after I've done that, I check what's for dinner. Ensuring that I know what lunch, if I'm cooking lunch, lunch is usually leftovers or whatever they can find themselves. But knowing what's for lunch and knowing what's for dinner is really important, because if I missed an ingredient and I need to run to the grocery store or make it an adaptation, I need to know that now. It also helps me to know what prep work needs to be done for dinner. I like to prep dinner throughout the day, cut some veggies, marinate the meat, whatever, so that it's quicker to get dinner on the table at dinner time. Between afternoon activities and work, because I also get a good chunk of work done in the afternoon, between those things, it can mean that I don't have a lot of time to actually get dinner on the table. So anything I can do earlier in the day to reduce time later in the day is really helpful. So I always check what's for dinner, look over the ingredients, thaw the chicken if I need to, whatever I can do, so that I've got the knowledge of what needs to come later in the day. I don't need to tell you this, but transitioning from homeschooling to out of the home activities can be a rushed affair. You're trying to finish up that last set of math problems before you get out the door to piano or wherever. The last thing you want to be doing is mad searching for the lost soccer shoe or the missing library book as you're heading out the door. So I like to get our bags packed and in the car in the morning. I started doing this back actually when I just had 2 kids. In fact, that's how long ago it was. But we had these, Elizabeth was starting activities, Awana and Girl Scouts and those kind of things. And getting out of the house when I had little ones was not my strong suit. And it's still not my strong suit now that I have older kids and 3 of them. So whatever I can do to make that math searching not happen later is really important to me, because I hate scrambling. I end up feeling stressed as we're getting out the door and I'm barking at the kids and they're feeling the stress, and that's no good for anybody. So whether it's swim practice in the afternoon or an evening meeting for myself, I like to get those things out to the car in the morning. And the last thing I need to do before I get started with work is to check on what your homeschool day looks like. Over the weekend ahead of time, I have already prepped the lessons and gathered science supplies, all of those things, but I like to take one more look. I check over, make sure we have, double check those supplies, look at what each kiddo is doing for the day, and see if there are anything that I anticipate being a problem, being difficult, questions, etc. So that I can address those things now if I need to, or leave them notes. I can be prepared for the interruptions, whatever it is. If I'm on top of things, which you guys know is a 50-50 chance, then there's really not much for me to do. And this just takes a few minutes. My last thing before I head into my office area. But it's so important because while I do work from home, my first job is still as a homeschool mom. And I need to make sure that I'm not dropping the ball on that one in the rush of my morning routines and my other jobs and this and that. Homeschooling is still what needs my biggest focus. And create that morning routine that is what your family needs now. I'll see you in the next video.